Obviously, these monsters are not gonna stop. Freaking Greemers. Let's just go ahead and try to blast this thing up and get out of here. Wait, guess I'm gonna have to do it in first-person mode. All the more reason to make sure that there's not too many enemies around me before I do this. And that just kind of kills them instantaneously, so is this some kind of airlock or something? Interesting, they kind of crawl up like spiders and such. The first kind of more wide-open room of the game. Up until this point, we've kind of been confined to corridors and things like that have that kind of sci-fi space station vibe to it, but now this seems to be rather the first kind of real open area that we have right here. So I'd like to kind of go back to the graphical prowess of Other M, and by extension kind of the designs of both the monsters and the characters itself after I look behind the waterfall. Yep, looks like we have another nest back here. Let's get that. Get that. Oh, I could have dodged that one. That's what I get for getting too greedy and going right for the hive. Yeah, if you just press the directional pad, I'm pretty sure you can dodge while in first-person mode, but it's not something that's very well known. But yeah, I think this room is pretty evidence, and things that we've seen up to this point, that Other M really isn't a slouch as far as its graphical capability. Again, yeah, so it's kind of inferior to Prime 3, but I think that's just because Retro had things figured out. As far as the rest of the environments go, I can't really think of any major complaints I have. I can't really call it bad or anything like that. So I think the actual graphical fidelity isn't too terrible, and I think the enemy designs, such as this guy right here, are pretty spot on as well. In fact, this one looks like it's sleeping. Well, it's a pretty big boy, so I'm not going to mess with it for right now. But as for the rest of the enemy designs, I think they do a great job not only bringing in the new monsters, but also bringing back the old ones as well, the ones that were featured in the more prominent 2D games that we know of, such as Zero Mission and Fusion. Not so much the original, because I think most of the enemies were brought back in Zero Mission, kind of redesigned for that one. Of course, that was the case for Kraid and Ridley especially, but I don't really have many complaints from... Oh my gosh. Alright, well, it's woken up right now, and yeah, such as these guys right here. So the side hoppers were definitely in Zero Mission. I don't really have a problem with how they're presented here in Other M in a 3D space either. I think they might have been a tad bit bigger in 2D, but here in 3D, I mean, this is about what I would imagine them to be. I can't really say they, like, butchered the design or anything like that. But before we talk more about design and such, yeah, we got that thing way back there now. Now, this thing is powerful, but it's also quite slow, so I think we can just hammer it with missiles from back here and not have too much of a problem before it turns around and bites us Mawile style from the Pokemon series. Because, of course, Mawile, it has that giant, I guess, pair of jaws in the back, and that monster is kind of the same way as well. And we'll see later on, especially with the boss design. I think they do a pretty fantastic job as well. Especially the bosses. Yeah, I don't really have much of a problem with those as well. I actually really like the boss design in this game now that I'm thinking about it. So let's go ahead and take out all these guys right quick. And there's also this little secret over here that you may not have thought of. Yeah, look at here. I mean, look, these guys are pretty finely detailed. Like, yeah, I like the way these guys look a lot. Of course, those are the classic enemies. Those are the first ones that you ever see in the Metroid series, because they're kind of significant right there. And I'm having trouble taking down that last one right there. All right, maybe not lock on. Maybe just use the actual power beam right here. There we go. That will allow us to get yet another missile expansion back here. So, with the monster designs out of the way, and I don't really have too many problems with it, I don't think other people do either, because I've never really seen that be a common complaint. The character design might be a different set of issues right there. Let's go ahead and talk about kind of like Adam and the other Marines. I mean, it makes sense to me. They don't exactly look like the Marines from the Metroid Prime trilogy, but that's kind of for another reason that I'll kind of get into later. I'll just go ahead and touch upon it now as to what Sakamoto sees as canon and what we, as fans in the West, kind of perceive as canon. It's kind of really two different things, actually, but if we assume that this is the first time that we kind of see these Galactic Federation Marines, it actually kind of goes in line with the dead Marine that we saw in Super Metroid. So even though the design of the Marines is kind of different from what we saw in Prime 2 and especially Prime 3, I have to say that I don't think it's bad or anything like that. It looks like a pretty standard Space Marine design to me. Alright, that's locked, so we're going to have to find another way. And what better way to do that than... boom, bombs while in the Morph Ball. There we go. Alright. And I definitely don't think that there's a problem with the other M suit design either. I kind of touched upon this earlier in the first episode of this series, as this is another example of what I'm talking about. Yeah, look at these guys. They're kind of like tree dinosaur monsters. It's kind of weird. They can't hurt us right now, but oh, this one's kind of close up, actually. Looks like they can actually like shoot bombs out of their back as well. I don't know if they're aiming for me, really, but yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I hope I'm not getting my directions mixed up either. I hope this isn't the way that I came from. Yeah. But I don't really... This is the way that I came from, isn't it? Yeah, I recall this now. I was going this way because I thought the navigation room was this way due to the pointer, but no, we want to go this way, I'm pretty sure. So I don't really have a problem with the power suit design. Like I said, it looks a lot like the standard power suit back in Super Metroid, as if you lifted the sprite directly from it, actually. But, and I don't really have an issue with the various suit later, as we will see, but, oh, hold that thought for a second, as we have another bathroom, and I guess it would just be indecent for Samus to go into the men's room, so we're stuck with the ladies' room yet again. No disgusting purple bugs this time, but we do have this right here. Now, this is going to be yet another power-up for Samus, exclusive to Other M. The Excel Charge. Nice. This makes us charge faster, so it's one of the most important upgrades in the entire game, if you ask me, because the Charger Beam is so very critically important in this game that it's kind of difficult to overstate it. I believe there are 4 of those total, so you definitely want to be out on the lookout for those, and that one was kind of hidden inconspicuously. You wouldn't really want to go back into the bathroom and look for a critical upgrade that way. Up, stay back! Oh yeah, the Parkers do so much damage. Yeah, I don't really care how... I'm not really... how do I phrase this? I don't really have a problem with how the various suit looks in this game either. In fact, you know, the designs in Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate were directly ripped from it, so it's not really problematic that way either. Gravity suit, kind of a different story right there, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, this is actually something else that I wanted to talk about, as we will go towards... We'll talk about the character design of the actual Samus later, being Zero Suit Samus, but for right now... So, this is unique because I don't think we've ever had a set piece like this in a Metroid game where we're actually climbing up like an elevator shaft. Yeah, there have been plenty of elevators in the Metroid series before and plenty of shenanigans that have happened in elevators before, but I don't think we've ever climbed one like this way. And this is what I think is a good example of what you should do in a 3D space, something that you weren't able to do in a 2D space before. As we'll go ahead and knock this with a normal missile. And reveal yet another one, and... ah, crap. Another lizard enemy chasing us down. Alright, so what we want to do right here, we probably don't want to take down the highly unstable elevator while we're like this. So let's go ahead and get in this little protection part, and do that. There we go. And that'll hammer the lizard right there. And I have to admit, first time I ever played this game, guys, I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. You would think they were like, oh, the elevator's about to fall, and my stupid self just decided to shoot that thing while I was in the shaft, and yeah, that's a game over. Because an elevator falling on top of your head is pretty devastating right there. That right there is an example of what I think Other M should have done more of, and what I will commend it for doing well, I think, because we could not have done something like that in Metroid Fusion. So if they're translating kind of this 2D formula into a 3D game, I think you still want to do some nice, interesting things that you couldn't have done in 2D. I think that's why Metal Gear Solid was a success, and maybe this game not so much, because this game doesn't really take advantage as much as Metal Gear Solid with taking some conventional tropes of the series and doing things in 3D that you couldn't really do before. And we have yet another super missile door right here, so that's a no-go. Yikes. But what about here? I think that's the same exact room we were in earlier. Yeah, if you guys noticed when we were down there, a nice little attention to detail. If you kind of looked up, you would have seen this observation station right here. So not too much we can do right now, except the good old-fashioned go against the wall and use your morph ball bombs. Kind of difficult to forgive that one, huh? Yeah, so someone who forgot that multiple times in the Prime series. I'm not afraid to admit. So is this some kind of trash compactor or something? Because I don't know. That looks like blocks of trash to me. Looks like something you would see in like Monsters, Inc. or something. That one scene right there. So I do want to talk... Oh my gosh, wow. Just stay back. Rude. Okay, well at least it only takes 1 bomb to take those guys down. And they're crawling everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, so I do want to talk about the design of Zero Suit Samus, but I don't think I can do it right quick because I think we have some major stuff coming up here, and I'm kind of scatterbrained enough as it is, so... Oh, don't tell me I can't get that thing. Nah, I know I can. Wait, I can't? It's sealed? Oh, come on, come on, come on. There we go, yeah, the good old Morph Ball Bomb Jump. As we're going to bring our total up to 17 right there. There we go. Okay, no, so I do think I have a bit of time right here. Because I'll take down these annoying guys. So I've seen some criticism for the Zero Suit Samus design as well, and I don't really get it, guys, because I gotta say, I think the Zero Suit Samus design right here is probably my favorite in the entirety of the main series. Not that there's a whole lot of competition either, as I'm starting to think that missiles would be the better choice for these guys right here, because it's not like we've seen Zero Suit Samus in too many 3D appearances. Of course, our first one was in Metroid Zero Mission, not a 3D game, and even then, it looked kind of weird, especially in like the in-game cutscenes like this right here. Like, it just looks kind of weird. I don't know. I guess the in-screens were pretty much fine, like that one right there that I got back in Zero Mission. But it doesn't really count for like a 3D representation. So the first 3D representation was that thing right there, yeah, from Prime 2 Echoes in that is just uncanny valley to me right there, guys. I am not a fan of that design. And of course, the next time we saw her was in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. That was kind of the normalization of the Zero Suit Samus design, I would say. And I don't think Other M deviates from that all too much. I think there might be a few differences that kind of annoy people. And yeah, I don't really count the Smash series too much, because I feel like the Zero Suit Samus design in Brawl was obviously inspired by the Prime 3 Corruption one, and the ones in Smash 4 and Smash Ultimate were kind of lifted from the Other M design as well. So I kind of just, there's not too many choices, there's really just three, kind of Prime 2 Echoes, Prime 3 Corruption, and this one right here. So there are maybe like a few key differences. I guess we can, go over them right quick. I think the only real differences are, well, there's the mole, and I don't really like the mole. That's kind of the one thing about the Zero Suit Samus design here that I don't care for! Whew. Yeah, that horror factor is here, man. Alright, well, better watch out for that guy right there. Yeah, I don't really care for the mole, and I don't understand why that artistic decision was made. Let's see if I can just snipe these guys with missiles. Because, okay, Sakamoto, and this was said in an interview too. Oh, wait, one snuck behind me. Apparently these things can dig underground. What a interesting carnivorous species. We can't really shoot them until they wake up either. But yeah, he said in a design that, like, only he knew that, like, Samus had the mole and stuff like that. Well, dude, you, like, directed Super Metroid, Zero Mission, and Fusion. Did he direct Super? Maybe he was just a producer on that or some other contributive role, but I do know that he directed both Zero Mission and Fusion right there, so why didn't she have it in those? It's not like you couldn't have stuck, like, a black pixel in there or something like that, so I'm left a tad bit confused. So it's just really jarring when you get to Other M and she has that very prominent facial feature. That's the one thing that I don't really like. And I guess the other only, like, major change was maybe, like, the height or something like that. Not too sure, because I think we're going to get to use this right here. Although it's always been kind of difficult to kind of nail down Samus' height. We have conflicting information. I know that, like, Nintendo Power issue said something like 6'3" or something like that, but then the Smash heights are always all messed up, and this one she seems to be more around, like, 6 foot or something like that, so I don't really count that as kind of like something that people really whine and complain about. I think, honestly, and yeah, this is kind of awkward for me to talk about, I guess it would just be the I guess it's the breast size, really, and apparently people have really taken issue with the breast size of the design here in Other M, and I don't really get it, guys. I mean, I would understand, as we have yet another lizard right here. Let's see if I can actually do this right here. Get close to it, and yeah, badass moment. Go to sleep, buddy. But they're always in pairs. Let's see, where are you? There you are. Let's see if we can get this one, too. Get up there, and take that one out, too. Yeah, that's how you take these guys down, no problem. I guess, like, the breast size, it obviously is larger than, like, the Prime 3 Corruption design, and I guess people would take issue with that, really, but I don't really take issue with it because it's not unrealistic. We're not in, like, Dead or Alive territory yet, and I think if you were worried about an over-sexualized Samus, like, they could have done a lot worse in this game, especially with Team Ninja, and I kind of prefer this design because, well, she doesn't look like kind of skin and bones like she did in Prime 3 Corruption, like she was kind of malnourished. I don't really care for that as a Zero Suit Samus design, so I would say, aside from the mold, like, I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Zero Suit Samus design in this game. Just kind of, it's a shame that they kind of messed up the suit. I don't want to say messed up the suit, but maybe just kind of, the suit is definitely downgraded from the Prime series, in my humble opinion. Okay, so these guys right here, I would say this is the first real challenge of Other M right here. These guys, they gave me problems the first time I played, and they'll probably give me problems every time I play, really. So you have to be very quick with the dodges right here, as they like to circle you, and they like to use not only charge attacks, but also those energy attacks as well. And I don't think you can use missiles against these guys. You can only use charge attacks, and only when they open up, I don't really know what to call that, like the gun area, the inner workings or something like that, but because you can only hit them right there, you're right in the way of their gunfire, so it's a really risky proposition, and it makes it to where these guys completely control the pace of the battle, which I don't really mind, because up to this point, Samus has, pretty much entirely, I can't really think of a moment when we didn't control the pace of the battle, really, so it is kind of like a nice change, I suppose, to have these guys kind of dictate when we can hit them, and the other times we just kind of have to dodge and things like that. So I guess that's a nice change from a gameplay perspective, but from a perspective of showing off to you guys, it is quite repetitive, and these guys can take quite the beating as well, so it is kind of monotonous in that way. Okay, get out the way! And I think you can hit them kind of a split second after they close the gun as well, and they do like to cover each other too, which makes this also more difficult. And we still don't have a whole lot of energy at this point in the game for right now, so just kind of keep the dodges up, and try to keep a full charge meter. And I really hope that you picked up the charge decreasing item right here, because it is freaking invaluable in this fight. Okay, let's get out of the way right there. Man, I really wish there was some kind of like better lock-on system in this game for situations exactly like this. Granted, it's usually not a big of a problem because you don't usually have such a limited window to hit these types of normal enemies, or I guess this is kind of more appropriate as a mini-boss, but here it's just really annoying. And of course, a third one has to come down. Man, are you kidding me? Okay, come on, we're still doing pretty well. I got annihilated the first time I played these guys. I believe this was my first game over whenever I played Other M for the first time, back in 2010. And that's why I would like to say that I do think Other M is a bit more difficult and challenging than people tend to give it credit for. Yeah, you can sneak in one last pot shot whenever they charge up and try to hit you like that. Okay, so I think you can charge up, hit them like that, and then just kind of dodge out the bullet out of the way. Alright, get that one. Yeah, there really did not have to be a third one right here. That is just an added monotony that I don't think you really critically need. At least when there's just one left, it is not too big of an issue. Come on, just open up, buddy. There we go. Let's try to hit it with fully charged shots, and there we go. And it leaves behind something. Let's go ahead and check that out. Diffusion Beam, huh? Charged beams will scatter after impact. Controls, fire a charge beam. Yep, so it's just a passive upgrade to our charge beam. And let me ask something. So, we saw right there that we can find power-ups in this game that help our weapons abilities and our weapons ability and our suit as well. So why couldn't that have just been the entire game? Forgo this entire kind of upgrading thing, just have Samus not have any abilities, because that's how the game just has to be, due to it being a Metroid game, and I think we could have just solved a big problem, because look, we can find freaking upgrades in this place. It happened right there. So why didn't they just do that with all the suit upgrades? I don't understand. When I see easy solutions for something that were not taken, like I said, it's just very frustrating. And maybe they just really didn't think that the authorization thing was a bad idea. Maybe they didn't see the problem with it. Maybe they didn't think through the logic all the way, but I just feel like the solution was right there. And maybe they just didn't want to take the gameplay hit. They just didn't want to be like, oh, we can't just leave it to it being a gameplay reason or something like that. And it's just blah. Yeah, the suit does look pretty awkward here, just when we're in regular power suit mode, when we don't have the various gravity functions. But, you know, I don't really have a problem with any major design. Don't have a problem with the Marines, don't have a problem with the power suit, and I actually like Zero Suit Samus, so not a problem. And yep, here are you two guys. Looks like there's two of them, actually. Alright, these actually kind of remind me of, what was it, Batoon? Back in Super Metroid, yeah? It was kind of that was an underwater monster, actually. And this guy is no pushover. You need to watch out for this one. Okay, I think we actually have to hit this one with a missile, but the camera angle is kind of awkward right now. Let's go ahead and try to get in the first-person mode and hit that thing right there. There we go. And now, since we just got the Diffusion Beam, how about we use that right here? When we get out of the way, go ahead, look up, and get you right. No, don't lock onto that one. Lock onto this one when it's red. All right, and now we go in for the lethal strike. Yeah, badass. Nice. I love it when Samus just grabs enemies, shoves the cannon into their arm, or not into their arm, the arm cannon into their mouth, and boom, that's all she wrote. I freaking love that in this game. I think it's awesome. I mean, I think it's great that Samus is more acrobatic in this game. In fact, I think that might be the single most worthwhile contribution that Other M made to the Metroid series as a whole, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because this feature would be carried over into Samus Returns, where Samus is a lot more acrobatic and she can actually melee things with her arm cannon. And so for that, I'm actually really grateful to Other M for making Samus kind of more athletic and willing to use her body more as a weapon, instead of just kind of sitting there like an FPS character, not an RPG character, an FPS character, and just kind of shooting things from afar. Okay, I guess I was too slow on that one. Yeah, don't eat me like that, bro. Can we not do that, please? And now I'll get you. Oh, badass. Whew. Boy, so we just had like 3 high-stakes fights back to back to back. This game doesn't really let you breathe, man. Like, there are certain parts when they're not kind of deliberately slowing it down that the pace picks up and you've got to watch out. You better hang on, because this train doesn't stop. It's a thrill ride for the most part. Which is why, if you haven't really picked up on it so far, my major problems and complaints with Other M are almost entirely from a story, narrative, and dialogue perspective, as great. Gonna shoot me right out in front of the frickin' Maw-Wild dinosaur. Let's go ahead and get some more distance here. And fire some missiles right into that disgusting green sack, yeah. yeah, most of my problems are really from the story. As far as the gameplay is concerned, well, I'm actually enjoying playing it for right now, and I don't know. I feel like the story really kind of overshadows what is, essentially, with its mechanics, its gameplay mechanics, a pretty solid game, really. Definitely, you know, maybe not as complex as some people would like, but I don't think it's really horrible by any stretch of the imagination, which is a major reason why, as I said at the beginning, and I'll say it again, I really think Metroid Other M is kind of overhated. I really do.